It is September the 13th, and this is a meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm calling it to order. Let's go. We'll start with approving the minutes from our last meeting, which was held in May. Does anyone here have corrections to those minutes? Have we had an opportunity to read them?
Yes, read and no changes.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're good. Those minutes will be accepted and recorded as we have them. Under new business, we had anticipated a visit from Anna Brady to discuss our new inventory of historic homes, the survey which is being put in place. She is having ongoing health issues. We certainly hope she's feeling better soon, and we hope perhaps we'll see her next month with the same material. Under old business, I don't think, need to spend a lot of time reviewing our goals, particularly since we have only 2 members in attendance today. We had touched on the topic of using illustrated brochures. We'll continue talking about the usefulness of brochures versus other things that might be easier for the public to access. And again, we'll open that discussion when we have more members present.
I do have one thing on the brochure issue. So one of my deliverables from last meeting was to work on the copy for the brochure. And as it turns out, we definitely don't have an editable Word version of the most recent brochure. And I went back and forth with Tammy about whether there's a Word or other editable version of the older brochure, something for me to work on. And I don't believe I heard back on that. So I just wanted to maybe ask if we could, however it comes, if it's just PDF and I have to convert it and deal with the formatting issues, so be it. But I just need some editable version of the brochure, or some version of the brochure that I can convert into an editable format, so I don't have to retype everything based on it.
And I don't know how we received it, and there's not a lot of content there. Even if we had to just go ahead and reformat it, it might be less time consuming to do that rather than to try to.
The copy won't be any more time consuming, but in terms of getting it then to print, we'll need to coordinate with somebody on how it's going to be laid out, because I don't even have, I certainly can't replicate the layout without delving into the design part of it, which is not my forte. I'm a copy guy, not an aesthetic guy.
I do think, if I remember correctly, that Megan said she would do that.
The aesthetic part, the layout. Okay, so I'll just work on copy on a new document, and we'll just get it to her, and she can redo the layout, and we'll just start from scratch.
Sounds great.
That would be wonderful. Well, I think that's it for old business. We're going to leave it there for today. And under chairman's matters, the most important thing I would like to accomplish today is to have both of you made aware of and sign the letter that I prepared for county concerning the Dodgertown property. Dodgertown property has been on everybody's tongue the last several months. It's a peculiar, I'm going to at least say this today, it seems peculiar for us as a commission to be that involved on what feels like a personal level with any historic property. Typically, historic properties come to our attention as private properties and not as city properties, and that's what makes this crisis unique and also a little unwieldy as far as boundaries go and to what level anyone feels they need to be outspoken. And I'm referencing us alone here. So I always feel like there's a little bit of hesitation and contemplation And then, I realize that this is kind of a one-of-a-kind situation. Again, we're not really, we don't really have the background experience to look at something. This isn't a prescribed event that we find ourselves in. So, unfortunately, we are here to represent the taxpayers, the people who truly own Dodgertown, if you're going to look at it that way. So that's what I'm trying to be most...
But I'd like to throw out, though, that you all are appointed by the city council, and you are the ones who represent the city council. So just keep that in mind.
I'm very aware of that, and that also makes it a very difficult process, because we're here to regulate and to inform and to educate, to inform council. However, when we go to council with a recommendation and they don't consider it, then that puts us in a unique position. Are we expected to go ahead and just endorse their position?
I wouldn't say that you are expected to endorse the position, but I don't know that it's your responsibility to try to counter their position once you have made the recommendation and they have acted on it.
Well, I don't think we're going to be picketing in the streets. I promise you we won't be picketing in the streets. It's not going to come to that. But I feel like what we have done so far is appropriate. It was uncomfortable, but it's appropriate. I feel like we've done the right thing by the property. And we'll continue to support retaining the property, or hopefully continuing to encourage the county to maintain their interest. So anyway, that I don't know how closely you followed any of this, but I'm still, the delightful thing about events like this, if you can look on the bright side, is that it does get the community involved and informed in ways that perhaps they never have been before. And so that's a great thing, to know that people really do care and are willing to spend a few moments researching it and then commenting and doing something about it. So that's great. Excuse me. Again, the migraine meds, I'll say. The old business, I do have a letter here that I'm signing as well. If you remember the McDonald's display of historic photography in the lobby, we would like to honor that collection, the fellow that did it, with a proclamation. So I would like to get that attended to before the year is out. So we're putting that in the pipeline. So any other comments about the Dodgertown crisis, or?
No, are we signing something? I was just confused by the request from the chairman for each member to sign a letter. Is that?
That would be the letter to county that I prepared, which you can also read.
Which is really
course,
just our
just
encouraging them.
Correct. And once you read it, it's
Okay.
easy to understand. But yeah, all we're doing is endorsing their interest.
I didn't see it in the backup materials with the agenda that I received, but I'm happy to read it and probably sign it. I certainly endorse the notion that I'd rather have one of the more historically significant properties in Vero Beach in government hands, or at least in government if it's going to go into private hands, in private hands, with a plan to recognize, honor, and facilitate the historic mission, or not mission, rather, the historic significance of the site. Driving by it, it's depressing to drive by the site as it is now, but the only thing more depressing than an empty field where a beautiful and extremely historically significant golf course once stood is to drive by an Arby's on that site, or whatever makes its way in. So I do think that, I endorse the notion of the letter, and I plan to sign it, assuming it doesn't say anything that I can't agree with, but if I can't, I'll sign a letter like it.
And that was the biggest point of contention for us, the fact that if a developer had the property, there would be really no way we would know. There would be no guarantee, no insurance against it being misused, used in an appropriate way. I mean, this is the letter. I don't know if you think.
I'll read it as soon as we. I'll read it. I don't want to waste the camera's time. I'll read it as soon as we adjourn, and I'll probably sign it.
So.
All right, fine. Well, would it be appropriate? Can they read it and sign it after our meeting is over, since they haven't had an opportunity to review it?
Yes.
Or would you prefer for them to read it now or read it out loud? I have no objections.
As long as there is no further discussion of the letter, they can read it independently and decide whether or not they're going to sign it.
All right.
I just need to make sure that Sherry gets a copy of the letter for the official records.
All right. I'm going to leave that at Chairman's Matters. That's been all-consuming for me the last 6 weeks or so. Do we have anything under Members' Matters that you'd like to introduce? Any topics?
For me.
No, I don't think so.
Any news? Any new Centennial news? Or
No, not that I have. I wound up having to miss the last meeting, so I don't know what the update is, but the email traffic has been essentially constant, and it's just little date changes and time changes and little tweaks here and there is what I've been seeing a lot of.
we're pretty excited.
But we're on our way.
Okay.
We're on our way, and the big kickoff is a little over a month away.
Yes.
I guess less than a month technically, but the grand kickoff at the Vero Beach High School game is, I think, a little over a month away now. So
Wonderful.
it's going to be a good time.
Wonderful.
Just to make you aware, one of the things we're going to try to do is get a resolution adopted by either the Florida Senate or the Florida House or both, acknowledging the 100th year of centennial of the city.
Great.
Great.
Okay. Moving on, staff matters. We have Gail here today. Anything
Nothing
to share?
No updates.
No?
You are aware that Mr. McGarry retired, correct?
It's official?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Thanks. I knew that it was coming quickly, so. All right. Well, we'll miss Tim. And we wish him the best. And I hope Gail gets some help in the near future. All right. Well, if we have no other matters to discuss today, we can adjourn this meeting.
Sounds good.
All right.